much for having me here. That was a great service so far. I hope I can keep up with the vibration here. I appreciate being invited to speak, and today I wanted to talk about what our vibration is, or what can determine what our vibration is, because our vibration can change what we manifest physically in our lives. And so I came to this thought the other day as I was watering a plant I had outside, and I've been pretty good at watering this plant. I'm going to say religiously. It's been okay for the last few years, and I neglected it for, I want to say 7 days, but it was probably longer than that. And I went out and I thought, no big deal. It's a plant. It'll grow back, right? It's fine. And I started to water it, and I noticed that there were some brown leaves, and it just looked really sad. And I thought, oh my gosh, and I likened it to how we are and what we feed and water ourselves with every day. Because my thought about the plant, I wasn't thinking about it. And I just thought, well, I can neglect it for a little bit and it'll be fine when I get back to it. And I thought, well, that's kind of like what I do with myself sometimes, where, I can take care of my vibration. But I thought about it, and I thought, what we feed ourselves, and what I mean by feeding and watering ourselves is just like the plant, but this is spiritually, emotionally, and mentally can determine our vibration. And if we're aware of that every day, we can change what we manifest for ourselves physically, mentally, spiritually, abundantly. And I thought about this for a little bit, and I thought, well, in the last couple of years, I thought about the things that may have affected my vibration. And I've spoken about this before. About a year ago, my father passed unexpectedly. And he was the closest person I had in my life. He was my best friend. And to have such a passing, very unexpected, kind of obviously threw my vibration into this, what I feel like was chaos. And it was kind of a crazy time, because here I am, a spiritualist, a medium. I absolutely believe in communication, that we just change. But I was not, I want to say, ready on the surface for that to just be snatched up from me. And so I had to deal with these emotions. I want to say I went through this shock for a long time. And I reflect on this, and I think, what was I feeding myself spiritually, mentally, and emotionally? And when I look back on it, I was dealing with the trauma of reliving the shock of it. I did that every day. I was dealing with the sadness, all these memories, all this past stuff that just I kept feeding myself and feeling and going through. And so physically, if I'm entirely honest, for 2 months after his passing, I woke up with panic attacks. And I haven't had a panic attack since I was, over 20 years. And I felt that I couldn't control this. And I was going through so much anxiety. And at the same time, here's my vibration. I'm happy. I'm reliving these things. My body is doing these uncontrollable things. I'm not eating. And I thought about that time period, and I go, well, what did I manifest for myself in that life? And I can't even remember those 2 months after he passed, to be honest with you. It was so stressful for me, emotionally, mentally, and physically. And at some point, and here's the thing, I would get messages from him. He would come through in my dreams. I would get all kinds of messages out in public. I would try to clear my mind. And I remember walking on this path thinking, I really wish I got a message from my dad. And this is the freakiest thing, that there was literally a sign on a path that somebody had written, and it was his name. And it said, I hope you're okay. And I went, oh my God, that is crazy. And of course I start, tearing up, and I look at this as a sign, but at the same time, I'm still dealing with the grief and the loss and the missing. So I was in between two places mentally. And so one day I remember talking to my spirits, and through all this, I have this faith in my spirit guides. And I said, look, you guys, I really need some help with this, because I don't believe he's gone, but I'm having a hard time. And so what I learned to do, or what I was gifted by my spirit friends, was what they told me was, you can't have your mind in two places at once. You can't believe he's gone and then believe he's here. The mind just doesn't put that together. And so little by little, I started to let go of the thought that he is gone and focus on the thought that he is currently here. And I started to get more messages from him. And I started to get those moments of comfort, and the anxiety went away. And I heard clearly the things he was trying to tell me, and felt him present. And since then, that's been a year. I've had these amazing changes in my life in the last year that are all good. But I feel that he's been guiding me this whole time. Now that I have learned to let go of that, the mental part of me that was saying like, oh no, he's gone, you can't do this. I let that go. And now I know that he's still here and he still can guide you. And I want to say in much better ways than he did when he was here. Didn't always have the best ideas, but he did dispense the advice, and I did follow them into walls sometimes. But so for me, I've gained through that process, my vibration was lifted. And when my vibration got higher and I was able to hear him clearly, all these opportunities came to me. It manifested in ways where I was ready to see this. Here it is. Okay, Charlene, take that step, go ahead and do it. And things changed for me. So in that process, I got a lot of comfort. I got a lot of healing, and I'm super grateful for this religion, the beliefs that we have spiritually, because it helped me to come to this place. And so when I talk about manifesting and what we manifest, I also think of, how do we manifest things in our life? And I don't know how to say like unintentionally, but a lot of the times, many of us were raised with families or parents or someone who did not have the best way. And so we learned early on that we were not to be taken care of, that we didn't have love, that we weren't accepted, and we had these role models of negativity. And so what happens is, as we grow older, if that's all you learn, then you will probably manifest that in your life. I know I did for a long time, where I was like, why do terrible things keep happening to me? And honestly, when I was in my 20s, my thought process was, it's me against the world. Nobody cares about me. Nobody's going to help me. I have to do everything on my own. And how come I'm surrounded by people who are, wait a minute, just like me, right? I brought those people into my life because that's all I knew. If you see yourself in that light and say, wow, I was a really angry person who thought I could do everything on my own. Well, if, a big ball of love and joy came my way, I might hit it with a baseball bat and chase it away, right? It's all vibration. And so I didn't know any of this. Obviously, when I was a bit younger, and I just kept manifesting these things until one day I just thought, well, there's got to be another way to do this. There's got to be something else I can water myself and feed myself with. The fun manifestation for me, or the one that I love that changes people's vibration, really is love. And I know that we've all seen someone or been the person who was in a new relationship and we're just kind of doe-eyed and in that state, things can happen for us that normally we'd be really irritated with. But like, oh my gosh, I almost got run over. That's okay. My partner's at home. It's going to be a great day. I have all these things to look forward to. So in that state, which, a lot of the times is temporary, but in that state, our vibrations are of this place where we feel loved, we feel supported, we feel like we can do anything, we feel like if we fail, we can come back. There's somebody going to be like, it's okay, we'll just try again. We feel so supported and loved. And, that's how we should feel about spirit, if I'm entirely honest. But when I see this in people, I kind of giggle, because when we're in that state, we get our vibration raised, right? And I know very many people who have been single for years, and the second they get into the state where they meet someone, they fall in love, they're like, well, where did all these other people come from who now have an interest in me? And I'm thinking, well, you raised your vibration. You're now like happy, joyous, smiling all the time. Of course, you're going to attract other things into your life, So I always say that if we are conscious every day of what we're feeding ourselves, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, and keep ourselves a little bit in check, we can change what we manifest around us and manifest our opportunities. Another thing we have to do, or I believe, is that we have to be very self-aware of the things that lower our vibration and how we deal with those things. Because my little secret is that if I go out into the world and I get very upset and I hold it in and I go, I'm just going to get through today and I'm going to go home, and then I come in and there are 3 bags of potato chips. They're all gone, just like that, all gone. There I am, wolfing them down, trying to somehow feel better about what happened that I did not deal with through the day. And when we take our vices and we use them in excess, it doesn't raise our vibrations. We usually end up feeling a little bloated from the salt or hungover from the drink or whatever it is. And when that happens, then we feel worse about ourselves. So I always try to be conscious when I start to feel like something is wrong or I'm not doing well. What is making me upset? Why is it making me upset? Is that my ego? Am I getting upset at something that is not worth my vibration to lose my vibration over? So, I always think of like trying to keep my vibration up in those times. And, these days it's Bay Area traffic is still crazy, even during COVID. So I'm constantly doing some meditative work in there. The other thing that I do want people to be conscious of is healing yourself through the things that may have lowered your vibration throughout life. There's a lot of us who throughout life have carried around lots of negative emotions like shame. Shame is a huge one. And those are emotions that manifest in very negative ways for ourselves, very self-destructive ways. And what I mean by that is, if you are someone who is able to keep it together, to go about your day, be successful, you have a relationship, but deep inside you have a shame or a guilt about something, you don't feel the full joy that you're supposed to get out of your life. And I know there's a lot of folks who can't talk about things or don't know how to talk about things. And I always say, if there's a feeling that you're not talking about, please ask your spirit guides to help you to express that in whatever way is healthy for you, whether it be, going to a therapist, whether it be going to church or a group or talking to friends. You don't need to have your life be, I want to say, unfulfilled. I always think about from this point now till the time we die or change into the next life, I don't want any of you, to feel like something weighed you down to where you didn't fulfill what it is that you would have liked to do in this life. So please be aware of those emotions that you carry around that can be negative. And the things that we bury, and our excesses. So because I believe that our vibration we can change that, and we can change what we manifest. I would just ask everybody to think about what you want for yourself in this life, and that you can get it through law of attraction. But just to ask yourself every day, what am I feeding and watering myself to help myself grow? So I will leave you with that. And thank you so much for letting me share.